Is your idea of heaven wide open spaces where you can just be left alone? If so, maybe Texas is the state for you. They have a bunch of tiny little towns. With so few people living in them, they probably get as much alone time as they want. It's perfect for those who find the world to be just a little too people-y. So let's dig into the 9 smallest incorporated communities in the Lone Star State. Number 9, Toco. This tiny city of 95 sits in the northeastern part of the state in Lamar County. This is the type of place that if you're looking for it in the dark, you might miss it. With the exception of the liquor store, the town sits back off of the main highway, and it looks like that's the only business in the community aside from the water supply building. They do have a park, though, in addition to the handful of homes. According to the Texas State Historical Association, Toco was settled prior to 1900 and was called Shady Grove. At that time, they had a church, a school, and several stores. The stores and school closed after World War II, and the town name changed to Toco in the 1970s, but some of the older residents still refer to it as Shady Grove. Now that there aren't any businesses in the area, everyone commutes, with workers averaging 26.9 minutes of commute time, and students are bused to the county seat of Paris for school. Number 8, Rocky Mound. Another northeastern community, Rocky Mound sits in Camp County. If you want to live in a small community, but you worry about access to healthcare, maybe this would be a good fit. Almost 1/3 of the employed residents in Rocky Mound work as health diagnosing and treating practitioners and other technical occupations, which is a fancy way of saying doctors, mid-level providers, and other healthcare workers. However, the residents are all spread out. Something I found amusing about this place is that most towns show up on maps as squares or rectangles, but the Google Earth team drew this one as some sort of creature with a walking stick. If you're looking for a place with diversity, this also fits the bill. Rocky Mound was originally established as a black community. As of the 1980s, it's no longer exclusively black, but people of color do make up 37.4% of the 78 residents. Number 7, Sun Valley. Not to be confused with Sunset Valley, Texas, which is located more towards the central part of the state, whereas Sun Valley is northeastern in Lamar County. 70 people call this place home. Usually in tiny places like this, you see an older demographic of people who grew up there and just never left, but the median age for the residents is 27. For the state of Texas, the median age is almost 35. A quarter of the residents are children, and with this being such a small place, they don't have their own school, so they are served by the North Lamar Independent School District in Paris. Only 5.56% of the people fall below the poverty line, so that's considerably better than the state and national averages. They currently have 26 people in the workforce, with 16 in production, 4 in healthcare support, and 4 in buildings and grounds cleaning and maintenance occupations. Number 6, Domino. Sitting on only half a square acre, the small community of Domino is home to 67 people. It's located on the eastern border in Cass County, which is a dry county. However, Domino is the exception. It is the only community that allows the sale of alcohol, presumably at the Love's truck stop because that appears to be the only business in the area. Aside from that, it looks like Domino is made up of 3 churches and residences. According to the most recent data, the town is 75.56% black, 13.33% 2 or more races, 4.44% white, and 6.67% other, and 2/3 of the residents are female. An interesting feature of this community is that it has a 100% home ownership rate. Number 5, Dorchester. Dorchester was founded in the late 1880s and at one point had 400 residents, but it has been slowly dying out. By 1990, they were down to 222 residents. By 2000, they were down to 109, and today they only have 53 residents. Between 1902 and 1940, Dorchester was fortunate enough to have its own elementary and high schools, but the high school closed in 1940 and the elementary school closed in 1959 when it merged with the Howe Independent School District, which is where the children of the community still go to get an education. They also used to have at least one store, with the abandoned building sitting empty now. Today, the community appears to have one church and a city office and not much else. Number 4, Dayton Lakes. This community started out as a subdivision called Dayton Lake Estates, but the residents petitioned the state to become a city in 1985, and when it was approved, they shortened the name. Of course, at that time, they had more residents. They had around 200 then, but today it's down to 35. They estimate that there are only 7 employed residents, with 4 working in construction and 3 in manufacturing, which might be why the poverty rate is 82.1%. Dayton Lakes may not be home to many living residents, but it's said to be home to at least 2 ghosts. There's an urban legend about a haunted house from the 1960s where people claim to see things. I'll put a link in the description if you'd like to know more. Number 3, Impact. The founding of Impact is tied to alcohol. The town is located near Abilene, and prior to 1960, all cities and counties surrounding Abilene were dry, although there were moonshiners in the area. A businessman named Dallas Perkins decided that he was going to take advantage of the area's dry status by taking a 20-acre poultry farm and incorporating it as a town where he could sell legal alcohol. 2 liquor stores opened in Impact in 1963, and that first month, sales were $463,000. In today's money, that's $4.5 million, so obviously this was a product that area residents really wanted. With that money, the town was able to pave and light roads, establish a garbage pickup, and hire a policeman. Thanks to its status as the only white community in the area, Impact flourished. Up until 1978, when Abilene legalized the sale of alcohol, and people no longer had a reason to drive out to Impact. The 2 liquor stores closed and people started leaving. Today, there are only 20 people left living there. Number 2, Los Ibanos. Similar to Impact, the small town of Los Ibanos was also founded due to alcohol laws. Apparently, Texas state law says that all counties are to be dry, but local governments can opt out of that, and so these small communities would spring up as a way to get around the law. Israel and Mary Ibanos bought land in the 1970s from the government that had previously been used for soldiers' barracks, and they started bringing in family members to establish residency. They formally incorporated the community in 1983 and obtained a post office. They also built a drive-through liquor store that is still in business today, and founded a local radio station with the purpose of using it as a method for advertising the liquor store. Today, most of the buildings are falling apart, and only 13 people still call Los Ibanos home. Number 1, Corral City. This tiny community is located in the northern part of the state in Denton County. A couple in the 1970s had an issue with liquor laws in the county, so they decided to circumvent them by buying 20 acres of land from a friend and establishing their own town with a new sewer system and liquor store. It became incorporated in 1973 as Corral City. Not long after, people started moving double-wide trailers into the area, and Corral City was said to have prospered for about a decade. However, following the death of the husband and retirement of the wife, the town started falling by the wayside. In 1993, a man named Eddie Draper bought the town and became mayor. In 2016, the community was renamed to Draper in honor of the former mayor. However, a new owner took over in early 2022 and changed the name back to Corral City. According to the American Community Survey, there are only 8 people left living full-time in the community, 4 children and 4 adults. There are a few businesses located there, including an RV park, a gas station, convenience store, and liquor store. Would you ever live in a tiny town like these? Personally, I would hate having to drive more than a few minutes to get the essentials. I like having a grocery store within a short distance, but that might just be me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, give it a thumbs up. If you really liked it, consider subscribing if you haven't already. We also offer memberships if you're interested in seeing videos before anyone else and getting access to other perks. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I remain stuck in the cornfield.